Hey guys, Max here for Rev3 Games. I'm at E3 2013, and I got to do something last night that made me very happy. My inner 5th grade child was very excited about this. I got to play a new Shadow Warrior game. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Shadow Warrior, it was the 1997 follow-up to Duke Nukem 3D by 3D Realms, and whereas Duke Nukem was kind of this chauvinistic American macho movie star asshole guy, the hero of Shadow Warrior is an obnoxious, pretty much really racially offensive ninja named Lo Wang. And this new game is being developed by a company called Flying Wild Hogs. They're a Polish studio, and what they're doing is they're basically trying to, well, they're trying to do what Duke Nukem Forever said it was going to do, except they're actually doing it pretty well. With Shadow Warrior, Flying Wild Hogs is trying to kind of make a return to that old school shooter vibe that the original Shadow Warrior had that we loved back in the 90s, the kind of over-the-top gore, very violent, very in-your-face, kind of just PC action. However, they are adding one thing that I think the original Shadow Warrior didn't quite do, and that's really making the sword a really big part of the game. In the game, you know, you are a ninja, you are Lo Wang, you have a sword. However, as opposed to it just being your half-ass melee weapon that you use until you get a gun and then you just keep using the guns, in this case they're really fleshing out the sword mechanics, which is something that's pretty cool to see in a first-person shooter. In the game, you've got different moves you can do. Double tap. I was playing on a keyboard, so double tapping one of the directional buttons will have you dash in that direction, and holding down the right mouse button and then tapping one of those directional buttons will have you do like pretty cool like ninja moves. Like you can shoot kind of energy beams out of your sword, and of course on top of that there are also plenty of crazy cool fun guns. You know, there's like a futuristic shotgun. You can dual wield submachine guns, which is a classic Shadow Warrior bit. They're trying to be very faithful to the source material as well as kind of fleshing out the story. The original Shadow Warrior did not have much in the way of story, but they're trying to kind of expand upon that. There's a bit in the demo I saw that had Lo Wang kind of rocking out, driving around in his sports car, listening to Stan Bush's The Touch from the Transformers the movie soundtrack. So it's got this wonderful kind of over-the-top 80s thing going on for it, which I'm stoked about. The gameplay feels super arcadey. Like you get score for cutting up enemies with your sword, or for just, you know, unleashing kind of an onslaught of violence in their general direction. You're fighting a lot of demons and you know, Asian monsters and stuff like that. And the whole time Lo Wang, of course, is saying just really disgusting, immature comments about it, which is, you know, what you like. It's, you know, in the style of Duke Nukem, as it were. The enemies I was fighting were mostly just kind of demons and stuff like that, but the devs were telling me that they were going to have giant bosses. They're saying on the scale of Shadow of the Colossus, like really just massive, huge boss fights you got to do. You know, there's kind of a bit of a Yakuza vibe to it, but there's also a lot of crazy demons and stuff coming at you, and you got to fight them. One thing they wanted to address is that they don't want this to be kind of a modern shooter where if you sit still for a while, your health regenerates. However, there are different ways to heal yourself in the game as opposed to just, you know, taking damage repeatedly. Obviously, you can pick up, you know, health power-ups, but you also have kind of ancient, you know, mystic sorcery that you can use. However, using it will, you know, it will recharge your health, but it will also enrage enemies around you who will come at you kind of faster and stronger, and therefore it's got this very hectic, fast-paced, disgustingly violent gameplay that I'm very excited about. This version of Shadow Warrior, of course, is coming to next-gen consoles as well as PC sometime later this year. I'm not sure if it's going to be hitting consoles the same time as PC, but if you've never played the original, go check that out. It's free to play on Steam. It's disgusting, it's violent, it's a little bit racially, you know, insensitive, and it's a grand old time if you're a child of the 90s like I clearly am. So go check that out, and also check out the rest of our coverage right here. I like video games, guys, especially when you can cut off people's heads.